and can be done to fix the plagues of our community. To moderate the first panel, we have Mr. Ken Smythe. I'll tell you a little bit about Mr. Smythe. He's the publisher and entrepreneur. He was born in New York to Mary and Alice Dobbins Smythe. In 1974, Mr. Smythe, his brother David Bay and Gerald Gladney started Spirit Magazine. And in 75, they started an arts publication called Essay, which was ran until 1978. Smythe joined Harlem's Amsterdam News as arts editor from 78 to 1980, and in 83, Smythe wrote for Essence Magazine and the National Leader. In 1984, he joined the Black Enterprise, serving as senior editor at Black Enterprise. Let's all give a warm welcome for Mr. Ken Smythe. He's a doctor.
Good morning. Good morning. Hoping you all are still here. Rifus, thanks for that generous introduction. My mother and father, thank you for imposing that on this crowd. We're going to get this started by talking about issues that are really important and dear to me, but I know all of you here too have something to say about all of what we will talk about today. So please have your questions in mind. We will answer them later in the program after we've had a chance to hear from our panelists. Please let me introduce them, beginning with the Business Development and Opportunity panel, Mr. John Robertson. Mr. Ralph G. Moore. Mr. Jonathan Swain. From our Black Media, New Media, and Technology panel, Gerard McClendon. Mr. Michael House. Dr. Rachel Ross. And from our Joblessness and Housing panel, Mr. Harold Davis, Stacey Hartman, and Robert Moore. Please give our panelists a nice round of applause. I too want to lend my voice to thanking Clerk Dorothy Brown for putting this fantastic event together and for allowing me to participate. Yes, give it up to Dorothy Brown one more time. These three representatives from their various areas have come to give you a report on what they have discussed, what are the most pressing needs from the areas they represent, and to hear your questions related to those areas. So we are running a little behind, so we want to keep this at a quick pace, but also at an informative one. I'm going to begin by asking John if you will give us a report on what the most salient issues were from your committee and what you feel we need to most focus on in the area of business and opportunity.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the members of the focus group.
Can we get this mic turned a little higher for the house, please?
Can you hear me now? First, I want to thank the members of the focus group who came to the meetings and participated and gave their time and their effort. It was really an exciting focus group for us because we really wanted to try to focus on what we felt was really the most important thing, and that is how do you create grow profitable Black businesses. And as we take a look at whether those businesses are B2G businesses, business to government, business to consumer, or business to business type of organizations, we found that there were really four things that across all of those businesses that we felt were really good obstacles and impediments to real business growth. The first is access to capital. Getting access to capital in a way that allows people to be able to start businesses and to be able to grow their businesses is a significant challenge for Black businesses in particular. The second is mentorship. We felt that it was really important that businesses have mentors, that you have access to people who have been there and done it before, that have either gone through growth stages or been in your particular industry or sector that can help you to understand the challenges that your business is going to face. The third is that we need to build businesses of scale, size, and capability. It's great if you've got your grandma's lemonade recipe and you want to start distributing lemonade all across the country, but you've got to do it in a very deliberate way, and you've got to build your business model in such a way that allows you not just to sell 1 or 2 bottles, but to become Snapple and to sell millions of bottles. So we've got to build businesses of scale, size, and capability. And then the last area that we focused on was how do we build businesses in sectors where we really don't see a presence of Black businesses at all? In the areas of technology, in the areas of life sciences, clean tech, and social entrepreneurs. We felt that these were areas that presented some great blue ocean opportunities for entrepreneurs, existing business owners, and existing people who work in corporations and businesses to start new businesses in areas where we don't have a whole lot of presence that really could create some unique opportunities.
Thank you much, John. In the area of joblessness and housing, I want to turn to Mr. Harold Davis to give us the salient points from your group about identifying critical issues. What were they for the areas of joblessness and housing? Can you hear him in the house?
Do a series of meetings, and when we look at homelessness and joblessness, they normally go hand in hand. When somebody loses their job, shortly thereafter, they end up losing their apartment or losing their house. One of the things that we looked at through these series of meetings was that we looked in the business community, and we know that industry produces jobs, jobs don't produce industry. And so our problem is that we, for some reason, think that jobs produce industry, and they don't. We have to go to Rich's book that was printed in 1992, came out with some statistics last year in Chicago, that 82% of the Koreans that live in Chicago have at least one Black business. 72% of the Americans that live in Chicago have at least one Black business. 62% of the Pakistani Indians that live in Chicago have at least one Black business. And so when we look around, and we have to be, if somebody did a diagnosis on Black people, they would have to say Black people have a serious mental issue based on the fact that you would allow somebody to import themselves into the community. You would allow somebody to import themselves, and then you're foolish enough to support them, and then you watch them import these little brothers into some juvenile detention center, some penitentiary, because we couldn't give them a job. And so these are the things that we saw, that until we get control of the businesses in our community, we're going to continue to have what we have in Chicago.
Thank you, Harold. Gerard, what can you bring us from the deliberations in media and technology?
Just first want to detail that we found that Chicago is the test ground for all Black media in the United States as well as around the world. Chicago is the litmus test. It's the crucible when it comes to testing Black media. Some of our bullet points. Johnson Publishing Company is the largest publishing company on the face of the earth when it comes to the Black diaspora. Oprah Winfrey built a $1 billion company in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is the test ground, and we have to know that. Some of the key issues we talked about: ownership, representation, representation, misrepresentation, capacity building of Black media, and creating an unapologetically Black content. That is the key. So we all can look into our 12-point plan. We'll probably mention 2 or 3 items in the plan, but one of those items is building a 24-hour Black news network in Chicago, Illinois.
Gerard, you got us on the path of talking about solutions, and I want to give the other members of the panel an opportunity to weigh in on what you discussed, and if you have some personal insights that didn't get shared in your panels, or something that came to you after participating in the panels, what those things would be. So I'm going to begin with business and opportunity for any member there to give us an idea of solutions. Where would you think we need to focus immediate attention, gather collective resources to have some immediate impact?
So I think that when we take a look at Black businesses, especially our neighborhood businesses, there are very particular challenges that they have, and there are some very specific solutions that I think can help to, number one, educate Black consumers about the Black businesses that we have in our communities. But it's also important for the business owners that are in those neighborhoods to have an opportunity to really kind of shape this discussion as well. And Jonathan Swain, who is an entrepreneur that owns Kimbar Beverages on 53rd Street, is one of those young entrepreneurs and business people who serve Black consumers. So I think it'd be really good to hear from him about some of the challenges that as a Black business in the community that he faces.
Dwayne Johnson's microphone.
There we go. Thank you, John, for that. This dialogue is very important to me. Being a young man, being a second-generation African-American business owner, it resonates very, very deeply with me. I think some of the biggest challenges, going to the question or a point that was brought up on the joblessness and homelessness side, I operate a retail beer and wine business. In other contexts, it's called a liquor business. A lot of businesses we're talking about in neighborhoods are run by people that are not African-American. What I think one of the biggest challenges that we've found as a community that I've seen in my experience has been we need to start giving ourselves a chance. A lot of times, we make choices to shop and spend our dollars outside of our community. Now, that's not saying that you have to spend your money with African-American businesses or try to do it like John and Maggie Anderson did when they spent money with Black businesses for an entire year. But you should give African-Americans a chance at first. Now, it's incumbent upon those African-American businesses at that point to deliver. They need to deliver on price. They need to deliver on service. Shopping with someone just because they're Black is not enough. The businesses have to be able to deliver. But we have to have a desire to shop with them first. Secondly, I think the biggest challenge that you find is consumers. Because when you think about it, I heard a study recently that we're going to have $1 trillion of spending in our community. If we spent those dollars within our community, within Black media, within Black businesses, you would see a big turnaround in our community. When we have issues with African-American businesses, talk to the owners about it. How many times have you been in a restaurant or been in a business owned by an African-American, you had a problem with the service, and you walked out? Not mentioning to the owner, hey, I have a problem with this, hey, I have a problem with that. I think a lot of times what we forget as individuals or as business or as consumers is that businesses are learning. As a business owner, I've been doing this for a while, but I learn, I make mistakes. When customers come to me with my mistakes, it tells me that, hey, the price down at Kenwood is this, or the price at Benny's is this, I can respond to that. That's not a problem, but I need to be told that. And I think that's where the dialogue has to begin between the Black business owner and the Black consumer.
Your mic for Ralph Moore. Okay.
Okay, my focus has been more B2B, but I think the black consumer is also the key to major companies doing business with black manufacturers and black businesses.
Can we get his mic a little louder, please?
Okay. Because, for example, if in fact we go to Macy's, if you support Macy's and start asking questions, do you do business with black consumers or black businesses, Macy's will respond. Google is what comes to mind for me. Although it's a consumer process where Google's trying to sell you their Google homepage and all of the other things they do, Google has one of the worst records of working with black businesses in the country. I would suggest we make Microsoft make being our homepage until Google understands we will not do business with them until they do business with us. And it's a part of our consumer activism where we have to understand, for example, Vanity Fair napkins, Dixie cups are made by the Koch brothers and Georgia Pacific. Now the Koch brothers are into voter suppression. We have to understand the economics of being good consumers because we're supporting people who are against our communities. So we have to be knowledgeable. In addition to supporting black retailers, we have to understand that we support companies that support black businesses.
I'm going to go back to our job and housing panel for insights there on solutions. And if we want to start with Stacy overall. Stacy Hart.
Yes, can you hear me okay? All right. Okay, look, black households, as we look, we're spending over $507 billion, our annual spending. As you hear my colleagues up here, as everyone is talking about, it's about the owners and the consumers. But we're talking about the employees too. Somebody else got to get some jobs in here. We're talking about that middle level person, the employees. So we're talking about community economics. As we bring the funding and the funds back into the community and we're supporting our black businesses, because if we take just a percentage, just take 10%, but we want it all, black dollars in the black community. But if we spend $507 billion annually, we would change our communities, we would change this unemployment situation instantly. We would change our housing instantly. Bring your money and your business back into the community. Before I get really carried away, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague.
Robert
Thank you so much. One of the main things that we looked at is the funds that are available to create jobs in the community. Number one, TIP funds. Our TIP funds are being ported from our wards to downtown Chicago. As is a travesty. We need to step up to the plate, file lawsuits, and demand that the money taken from our community be returned. Training programs that do not have a job tied to it should not exist.
Amen.
You can keep giving people false hope about employment, about these training programs that do not have jobs tied to them. Leave the money alone if you don't have a job. We need an infrastructure for change. We do not have the infrastructure in our community. We are homeless. We do not have not one building dedicated to working to create the things that we need in our community. A brain trust, researchers, our contractors to create jobs. If we would put together the infrastructure, the bonding, the insurance, so that they can work under one big umbrella, and we could sit at the table and bid against the contractor. I do not understand why you want to bid for 10%. 20% when you can get 100%. Be them at that table. Our black churches constantly hire everybody else to build our churches but us. We build the pyramids, but we're not good enough to build your church. You need to go back
go to media and technology now for solution-based ideas that came out of your discussions or reside in you personally. Whoever wants to begin.
I'll start off and then I'll hand the time over to my colleagues here. Nielsen tells us that Black people are the most loyal media consumers in the world. Not just Black people, but Black people in the United States are the most loyal consumers of television, tablet use, smartphone use, radio, and mobile app computer use. That's a lot of power that everyone else knows about, but we don't even know about it, and we don't exercise it. So, it's about capacity building, and I want Dr. Rachel Ross and I want Mr. Michael Hauser, the defender, to discuss capacity building. Two things before I hand the baton over. We're going to talk about advertising with Mr. House and the power of the app and social media with Dr. Rachel Ross. One item in our 12-point platform is that every African-American family in Chicago subscribe to or financially support at least one form of Black media originating in Chicago.
Yeah.
You don't have a subscription to a magazine, to a newspaper, to someone's blog, to someone's, if you're not loyally listening to radio and contributing, you are a detriment to the Black agenda. Let's talk about capacity building, advertising, and social apps.
Thank you, Secretary. You know, the Chicago Defenders, my organization, we've been in this community for over 108 years. And we're just as relevant today as we were in 1905 when this average started up in Chicago. And the real issues that we face today, as Gerard has pointed out, is we need the support of our own community. I mean, we need the support of everybody that's in this city of Chicago should, as he said, be reading a newspaper, and there more than one newspaper in the city of Chicago. Black, we have Crusader, we have Blue Guards paper, The Citizen, we have Mary Dennison. We have a lot of options in terms of at least support one of those, and as he said, the other magazines and others that speak to our community. Because without that support, we can't continue to exist. It makes it very difficult for us to exist if we don't have readers. Readership is the key. And we're just as relevant today as we were in 1827. And I know all of you know that the first Black newspaper was published in 1827 in New York, Freedom Journal. And the only reason that John Rushmore and Samuel Cornish started up Freedom Journal in New York was so that we could speak our own case and we could say to our community what we needed to say. So it's just as important today that we have our own vehicles, our own media vehicles to address the issues in our community. That's why we have some of the problems with our young people, because we don't communicate. We don't have a vehicle for them to read. Now, I know today they're into the social media, they're into the internet and all that, and we've embraced all of that. But we need your support in the media, whether it be the radio stations, WBON, or whether it's the new TV stations that are coming into being, as well as the newspaper, which is our major vehicle to communicate relevant news content to our community. Thank you.
Dr. Ross?
I can't speak about media technology without acknowledging the fact that
Rachel, take your mic here. Hold it.
if you have no control over images, if you have no control over how people and our people see ourselves and the community at large sees us, then we have no control over anything. And so we've lost control because we've lost control of images. And so as a media personality and as someone who has spent a lot of time and energy investing in, technology and communicating with people, I understand how important images are. And I think as a community, we have to start to invest in things that are positive images.
we see ourselves, and our young people see ourselves, they have to see a reflection of something positive and not necessarily something that's crammed down their throat. I think it's also important that we meet people where they are. You know, we can't assume that every African American in Chicago is at the same place that I am, or is at the same place that you are. If so, they'd be here right now. So I think it's important as a group to spend time, energy, and money into communicating with people who may not necessarily reflect the same social values as ourselves, the same socioeconomic values as ourselves, and to really put that on the forefront. I would love to see a bridging between the older generations and the younger generations, besides Facebook. You know, yes, they spend a lot of time on their cell phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A lot of time on their iPad, but we gotta meet them where they're at. So when Black businesses are communicating with each other, there needs to be a focus on spending time and energy on the apps and the social media that the younger people are using, because that's the generation we've lost, and that's the generation that we have to try to bring back into the fold. Because organizations like the Defender, Ebony, Jet, Essence, all of these things, if the young people aren't invested in them, they will be figments of our imagination and just parts of our past instead of parts of our future. So investing into integrating the age groups, integrating the socioeconomic groups, it's not enough to just drive past people and assume that we're on two different platforms and can never meet. We have to meet. We have to invest in technology that helps us all kind of come together. Be
Thank you, Doctor. I want to continue on that theme because as my son, Jason Smythe, who is 27 years old and way smarter about technology than I am, is constantly reminding me, he's got a simple phrase for the state of our relationship. Dad, you don't get it. You don't get it. And it is a new world, and there is a new dynamic out here. And I do think that what gets lost in the relationship as it exists now is that we're not listening to each other. All right? The best way to speak, I've always been taught, is to listen. So I would love for our panelists to share insights that they've had about getting younger folks than themselves engaged in the businesses, the professions, the problem solving that you are all individually engaged in. I know some of you have some very specific things, and I want to point out one of our sponsors, True Star Magazine and the True Star Foundation, which publishes a publication with high school and college students, college age students, and has taught them that area of media